Morning. I'd like to call the fifth meeting of the House Standing Committee on Primary and Secondary Education to order. Jay, please call the roll.
Representative Bratcher. Representative Emily Callaway.
Present.
Representative Josh Callaway.
Here.
Representative Campbell. Representative Doan. Representative Fleming. Representative Grossberg. Representative Hale.
Here.
Representative Jackson.
Present.
Representative Proctor.
Present.
Representative Rayburn. Representative Riley. Representative Tipton. Representative Truitt.
Here.
Representative Wilner.
Here.
Vice Chair Kleins.
Here.
Ranking Minority Member Bojanowski.
Here.
Chair Lewis.
Here. Do any members have any introductions this morning? Seeing none, we're going to move right on into bills. First bill for consideration, House Bill 383. If you'll come to the table, introduce yourself for the record and any guests you might have.
Good morning, Vanessa Grossel, State Rep from the 88th House District.
All right, I see we have a sub has been distributed to members. Got a motion, a second. Do we have any discussion on the sub? Would you like to explain what the sub does?
Yes, thank you all for hearing a robust discussion last time on this in your last committee meeting. This does not change current federal law, but it lets families know that Kentucky really prioritizes our military children with IEPs and 504 plans, and that we are going to, not that we're not currently, but we're going to continue to prioritize their needs when they transition to Kentucky schools. So we're asking that their IEP or 504 plan be adopted within 30 days to the greatest extent possible from their previous school. And we will document cases where that's not possible. And, Sam Sliney was with me last time from the DOD, and she presented some compelling data nationally around how far behind these kids get when they move every 2 to 3 years. And we don't want that to happen when families come to Kentucky. So that's the gist of what the sub does. Just really emphasizes that those children are a priority here in Kentucky.
All right, I think we need a voice vote on the sub. All in favor? Opposed? All right. You want to keep going and explain the bill now?
Okay, sure. I don't know what else I need to say that I haven't already said.
Well, most of it was in the sub, so I'll just give you. All right, I've got a motion on the bill. Second, we've got a proposed committee amendment to the committee sub, and it's in your packets. Representative Bojanowski, would you like to explain the amendment?
Yes. So House Committee Amendment 1 removes the language on page 3, lines 8 through 12, and inserts language, ensure to the greatest extent possible that a child's existing or new plan or program is adopted within 30 days of the child's date of arrival. And that just tightens up the language that what we're doing here is to the greatest extent possible.
All right, I need a motion on the committee amendment.
So moved.
Second.
We got a second. I need a voice vote on the committee amendment. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we've got the amendment on there. Now I think I had a motion and a second on the actual bill. Do we have any discussion? I have Representative Wilmer.
Thank you, Rep. Grossel. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Rep. Grossel, for bringing this back. I'm so struck the last time you presented this bill when it was for discussion only, just purely by accident, there was a military mom and a military student behind you, and as you and the person from the Department of Defense were nodding vigorously, talking among themselves about how important this was. I talked with them afterwards. They were telling me more about how this was so needed. And so that was just sort of a happy accident. But when I vote yes today, I'm going to be picturing that mom and that daughter and recognizing that they represent so many families that this is going to help. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you also to Ranking Minority Member Rep. Bojanowski for sponsoring the committee sub and working so diligently to make sure we could come to terms with everybody being on the same page on the definitions and everything else around this. I appreciate everyone.
All right, I see no further questions. Jay, please call the roll.
Representative Bojanowski.
Yes.
Representative Bratcher. Representative Emily Callaway.
Aye.
Representative Josh Callaway.
Yes.
Representative Kimmel. Representative Kleins.
Yes.
Representative Doan. Representative Fleming. Representative Grossberg. Representative Hale.
Yes.
Representative Jackson.
Yes.
Representative Proctor.
Yes.
Representative Rayburn. Representative Riley. Representative Tipton.
Yes.
Representative Truitt. Yes. Representative Wilner.
Yes.
Chair Lewis.
Yes. House Bill 383 passes with the expression of opinion that the same should pass on the House floor with the committee substitute attached thereto. Also need a motion to roll the committee amendment into the committee sub. We've got a motion. All right, need a roll call vote. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Seeing none. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Really appreciate you and Vice Chairman Kleins for hearing the bill.
All right, our next bill would be House Bill 469. Rep. Bivens, if you'd come to the table, introduce yourself for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Ryan Bivens, District 24 Rep. There is a committee substitute with the House Bill 469.
Got a motion? I need a second. Second on the sub. All in favor? Opposed? All right, you want to explain the committee sub?
Be happy to. Thank you all for having me this morning. You know, I'll start off first and foremost. My wife's a teacher, but I'm not an educator. I'm a farmer. But I tell people all the time in Frankfort, the most precious commodity we raise in this state is our children. You know, we have to do everything we can to keep them safe, regardless of what it is, because they are our future. They're the ones that's going to be sitting behind seats like this. A few years ago, it was brought to my attention, and then after I got elected as state rep, a friend of mine came to me and got to talking about a district race they had for a school board seat. The person running for that seat was questionable character, I guess would be a nice way to say it, and wound up did not win that race. But it was brought up, we got to talking about it, and he said there ought to be something to keep them. And I thought, you know, as a teacher, as an employee of a school district, myself as a volunteer going in to read to school children, maybe taking a tractor to school for a career day, I was forced to have to go through a background check. And I find it absurd that a school board member walks in, a person who's in an elected position that has access to children, and in some cases, in some districts, has key cards, access to the school buildings, was never required to have a background check. So what this bill does, it will allow when a person files to run for school board, they will also, then at that point, have to have a background check done as well as a CAN test, and that will be conducted by the county clerk. The county clerk will then see that they are deemed fit to go on the ballot for that election. No questions asked.
We've got a motion. We got a second on the bill. Do we have any questions? Rep. Tipton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Representative Bivens. As a licensed real estate agent, I had to have a background check too. Got fingerprinted. Who's going to pay the cost of having this background check done?
So in this situation, and with most school districts I talk to, the employees pay the cost. But in this situation, the person running for office will have to pay the cost, because the problem you run into if we start letting someone else pay, you're dealing with campaign finance laws and rules.
Any other questions? Rep. Fleming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Bennett, thank you very much, and I appreciate it. I was sort of surprised when you told me this, and like Jamie DeChristis, I want to ask you more of a broader question in terms of qualifications of the board. Do you see any other qualifications that need to be implemented based on your research and understanding on being a member, either elected or appointed, onto the board?
Well, I think you every school board district and part of the committee sub, it removed language from the bill. We originally had in the bill to also include some ethics language, but most school board districts already have a set of ethics in place. We were hoping to strengthen that a little bit, but I think it's more important to get this part across the finish line this year. So we decided and agreed with some of the shareholders that came to the table with this that we would delete that language for now. But, you go back to my original statement. Our children, we have to do whatever we can to protect them at the utmost cost. And it's a shame most time legislation comes about because of an instance that shows a loophole or a gray area or whatever. So I'm not going to sit here and say that there's not anything extra we could add, but there certainly is always room, I think, for improvement. Maybe we just haven't discovered what that is yet.
Thank you.
Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Bevins and I cut up and carry on with each other a lot, but I do want to thank him for this bill. I served 5 years on the Warren County School Board, and I think it's an excellent bill. I'm sure somebody will find something wrong with it. They always do. But overall, the intent of this bill is excellent, and anything we can do to help protect the kids that we serve in the Commonwealth of Kentucky is money well spent. So thank you, Representative Bevins.
Representative Callaway.
Yeah, thank you, Representative Bivens, for bringing this. Just a quick question. I'm just looking for the information. Like, is there, when the background check comes back, what qualifies them or would negate them from actually becoming a school board member, or is this just about transparency so people know?
No, it's no different than if you were to try to get hired on as a teacher at a school district. It comes back basically it's a pass-fail issue. It's not a questionable area. So that would be left up to the county clerk. He or she would then see that this person passed a background check or they did not, to allow them to be on that ballot for that election.
Go ahead.
The criteria, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Who sets the criteria, or is that what's built into the background check?
No, that would be built into the background checks that already exist, whether it goes through state police. Your CAN test is something through a federal level, from my understanding. So, that criteria is already basically, you're going to look at, does the person have a felony? Do they have charges that have been brought against them? A lot of things that maybe you or I, as a general public, would not ever see or know, but that would allow that to be brought up through this background check.
The other Representative Callaway.
Thank you, Chairman. I think the Callaways must have honed in on the background check because I was looking at that as well. But I was looking down the exemption from the Kentucky Open Records Act. I just want to know the background there for that.
So as you well know, as a Representative Callaway, sometimes when we write these bills, there's always that stuff that comes down from state government, the disclaimers. I'm not a lawyer. I'll be the first to admit that. Basically, there's not a way, and a lot of times freedom of information requests are made. This way it provides some protection to that level to the person that has had this background check done. If they were to fail it, that way nobody could ask to see, what's the reason, save them from embarrassment or whatever you might see. It's just part of what goes along with I guess you might say, an elected official, or in this event, this elected official having to go through a background check.
All right, seeing no further questions, Jay, please call the roll.
Representative Bojanowski.
Yes.
Representative Bratcher.
Yes.
Representative Emily Callaway.
Aye.
Representative Josh Callaway.
Yes.
Representative Campbell. Representative Kleins.
Yes.
Representative Doan. Representative Fleming. Representative Grossberg. Representative Hale.
Yes.
Representative Jackson.
Yes.
Representative Proctor.
Yes.
Representative Rayburn. Representative Riley. Representative Tipton.
Yes.
Representative Truitt.
Yes.
Representative Wilner.
Yes.
Chair Lewis.
Yes. House Bill 469 passes with the expression of opinion that the same should pass on the House floor with the committee sub attached thereto. Thank you, Representative Bivens.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
All right, our next bill for consideration is House Bill 586. Would you introduce yourself for the record and have your guests introduce themselves, and you may proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and fellow committee members. I'm Representative Mike Kleins, District 68 in Campbell County.
And I'm Audrey Walters, a freshman student at Sacred Heart Academy.
So simply, House Bill 586 clarifies that sunscreen is not a medication. It is my understanding that some school districts and other youth organizations define sunscreen as an over-the-counter medication. Therefore, without a written order from a healthcare provider, students are not permitted to bring or apply sunscreen while at school, during school-sponsored events, or during summer school programs. Again, House Bill 586 prohibits sunscreen from being defined in the Commonwealth schools as a medication. Consequently, each local Board of Education will develop its own guidelines for the possession and use of sunscreen. This school board requirement has been vetted and approved by the Kentucky School Board Association. Overall, House Bill 586 preserves parental discretion while eliminating a barrier to health services for youth. This time I'd like my guest to say a few words.
Hello, my name is Audrey Walters, and I'm a freshman at Sacred Heart Academy in Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm a local title holder in the Miss America organization. Thank you for having me here today to talk about this very important topic of sunscreen use in schools and how it will prevent skin cancer in young people like me. When I was 13 years old, I suffered sun poisoning, permanent sun damage, second and third degree burns from a sunburn in UV6. That sunburn only took about 20 minutes to permanently damage my skin. It is these kinds of sunburns that can have lasting effects on children because the more sunburns you suffer from as a child, the greater the chance there is of developing serious skin cancers as an adult. In fact, you only need to experience 5 or more sunburns to put yourself at risk for developing skin cancer by 80% for melanoma and 68% for non-melanoma. 1 in 5 Americans eventually develop skin cancer from not acquiring everyday sunscreen habits. This topic hit close to me a few years ago. My mom suffered from skin cancer and had 37 stitches on her face, probably from spending too much time in the sun without sunscreen as a child, but definitely not developing SPF habits from a young age. When this happened, we became very skincare aware at my house. We now use sunscreen every single time we go outside or even inside near windows because if you can see the sun, it can harm you if not properly protected. That's not a problem for me because I attend private Catholic high school. But when I was in public grade school, I could not apply sunscreen freely when I went outside for recess, field trips, and even field day. Children and teenagers like me in public schools are at major risk for developing skin cancer because they cannot apply sunscreen when they feel the need. Remember, I suffered from a second and third degree sunburn in just 20 minutes a few years ago. It can happen fast. Now that we know more about skincare prevention, I'm asking you to change the law in the state of Kentucky so that children and teenagers like me can use sunscreen freely in schools to prevent harmful effects of sunburn and their lasting effects that can lead to cancer. This will allow them to develop sunscreen habits that they will use for the rest of their lives. I'm asking you to consider the 29 states that already allow children to use sunscreen in public schools to prevent sunburns. I'm very passionate about this subject. In fact, I started a nonprofit organization called Block It Till You Rock It with a goal to provide sunscreen to any child or teen in the state of Kentucky who wants it. You can read more about my mission at www.blockittillyourrockit.com. I've recently partnered with a CeraVe company. They donated thousands of bottles of sunscreen to my organization for me to give away. Right now, I'm set up to donate sunscreen at the Louisville Bats game and working on events during Derby Week. But I would love the opportunity to provide sunscreen to schools so students can protect themselves at the place where they spend the majority of their days during the school year. Thank you for this time, and thank you for your consideration to allow sunscreen to be freely utilized and distributed in Kentucky schools.
Thank you. We had a motion. I need a second. We've got a second. We have some questions. We got here. Representative Proctor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just curious, what medication is in there that it's determined to be an over-the-counter medication that gave the school districts pause on this?
I can't speak to what type of medication. The Dermatological Association came to me over the summer with this request. And so it was prompted by the dermatologist, but I'm not sure which medication
Thank you.
it's in there.
Seeing no other questions, Jace, please call the roll.
Representative Bojanowski.
Yes.
Representative Bratcher. Representative Emily Callaway.
Aye.
Representative Josh Callaway.
Yes.
Representative Camel. Representative Kleins.
Yes.
Representative Doan. Representative Fleming. Representative Grossberg.
Aye.
Representative Hale.
Yes.
Representative Jackson.
Yes.
Representative Proctor.
Yes.
Representative Rayburn. Representative Riley. Representative Tipton.
Yes.
Representative Truitt.
Yes.
Representative Wilner.
Brief comment, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, on the bill. And I just want to thank you for transforming your experience into advocacy and community service. It's really inspiring for all of us. So thank you for being here today.
Chair Lewis.
Yes. And also, I'd like to make a comment. We're lucky you're here because this bill probably would not have passed with Representative Kleins presenting it. Okay, so we do appreciate that it actually got the bill to the finish line. So thank you for that. I am a yes. House Bill 586 passes with the expression of opinion that the same should pass on the House floor. Good job.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you. I guess, and committee members.
All right, our next bill for consideration, House Bill 621. If you all will introduce yourself for the record, and you may proceed.
Jason Nemus from Jefferson County, House District 33, and that was my constituent that just came by. And Steve Bratcher, I'm told she's got a lot of sunscreen for you, buddy.
Tina Bojanowski, House District 32.
Proceed.
Okay, so what I'm going to present to you today is House Bill 621. And what this does is it takes special education caseloads and class sizes from current regulation and puts it into statute. The need for this bill came from proposed regulation changes by the Department of Education, which really caused grave concern among special education teachers that we would not be able to provide the services to our students as well as we could if we maintained the current caseloads. The bill does make a slight change in that class size maximums are increased by 2 if a paraprofessional is present, and it defines special classes to include time that children are in a part of the day in a resource setting. So it kind of combines a resource definition with special classes. It does not impact the waiver process. So if a superintendent needs to waive, there is still the same process to do that. It does not impact preschool caseloads, nor does it impact speech language pathologist caseloads. So I want to thank Representative Nemus for being my champion as we've worked through this. I think it's probably, I would say maybe the most important after Truitt's bill, legislation for special educators.
Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Bojanowski, did you ever find out from KDE why they were talking about raising those numbers? Was there a reason given for wanting to raise those numbers?
Yes, part of the explanation was because we did legislation within the last couple of years guiding how waivers are processed, and the waivers would then have to go to the Department of Education's board. And a concern was because they were already granting certain waivers, and the delay that might be impacted. But from a perspective of a special educator, if we get 2 more kids who show up in our building, we provide services for those children. So whether or not the actual waiver is delayed, we would support those children without any delay.
Okay. I was just wondering, I was just thinking.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Mr. Chairman, can I follow up?
You may proceed.
Thank you. I was just thinking, would it be because there's a shortage possibly of special ed teachers across the state? I didn't know if that was the reason for it, or like you said, there was another reason.
I'm sure that that impact influences superintendent's decisions to apply for waivers.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Fleming.
Thank you. Representative, I wanted to ask, in terms of you're codifying the regulations, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then what determines, from the regulation standpoint, in terms of the class sizes, in terms of 8 for autism, 10 for development delayed, and those things, and then you have a maximum students per autism. What supporting data do you have to make sure that's an effective number in order to provide provide services to these individuals?
What I know from my own experience is that smaller numbers would be more effective, but I want it to be reasonable.
But is there any national information or data or that helps substantiate this?
There are no federal guidelines regarding caseloads or class sizes, and I do not have any data that these are the most desirable. What I wanted to do is have something that I could collaborate with the department with and come up with protecting the numbers that are currently in regulation. If it were the world according to Tina, I would drastically decrease the sizes, but I don't know that that would be feasible for superintendents and to get this bill through.
All right, seeing no other questions,
Motion on the bill?
I've got a motion. Got a second. Jay, please call the roll.
Representative Bojanowski.
Yes.
Representative Bratcher.
Yes.
Representative Emily Callaway.
Aye.
Representative Josh Callaway.
Yes.
Representative Campbell. Representative Kleins.
Yes.
Representative Doan. Representative Fleming. Representative Grossberg.
Aye, and Mr. Chairman, can I please record my yes votes on 383 and 469, please?
Yes, sir.
Representative Hale.
Yes.
Representative Jackson.
Yes.
Representative Proctor.
Yes.
Representative Rayburn. Representative Riley.
Briefly explain my vote.
Go ahead.
Good, caring, special ed teachers are among the angels on earth. Thank you. Yes.
And parents.
I'll agree with that too.
Representative Rayburn. Representative Riley. Representative Tipton.
Yes.
Representative Truitt.
Yes.
Representative Wellner.
Yes.
Chair Lewis.
Yes. House Bill 621 passes with the expression of opinion that the same should pass on the House floor. Thank you all. I need a motion to adjourn. Meeting adjourned.